if you are holding on to your crypto assets and especially XRP, this is going to be something really interesting. I would really like to ask you a certain question and think about this. What would you answer? Depending on your answer, you may have to take a decision. If you are looking at the price action, okay, we have a pattern here. It's still evolving. It's still playing out. We had a similar pattern before. We know how it ended up. So if you actually zoom a little bit further, you're like, okay, this seems to be repeating. One, two, at scale. The scale at which it is repeating is increasing. Each time you moved up, upside was bigger than the last one. So what do you think is going to happen? So one, we have a micro pattern repeating itself, giving higher ROI. But what I'm personally looking at is like, okay, that's happening on a trend line, which is going to the upside. So what do you think this means for the macro price action of XRP? Because this is a medium-term chart you're looking for last 1 year, and then the RSI is like, nah, I'm going up, I'm going up, I'm going up. So at this time, when the price is here at 0.6, it's already at the support. Last time, the price was 0.47 when the RSI was at a support, which means you still have a lot of bullish activity in the market. If you have a doubt, look at what this shows you. For me, this looks ultimately bullish. You may have a lot of manipulations. For sure, whales are not going to allow you to take profits just like that. Think about this. Now the daily close comes in. You have a clarity. Okay, we did not break this to the downside. During the day, we had this. We were kind of breaking to the downside. It was like a panic. But by the time the daily candle closed, this is what the whales are doing. So if you actually look at what the whales really want you to do, then you know, okay, that's not what you should be doing. You should be doing the opposite. Now, if you have that idea of what you think this asset is about to do, because some of them argue it's going to go down, some of them put the argument, no, it's going to go up. What do you think? Welcome to the scientific investor family, where the normal retail guys learn how to become the next top 10% of this world, and especially this crypto market, while this opportunity still exists. We've been going through a lot of these charts one by one, one by one. All of these assets have been explored to see where the opportunity is, where the opportunity is not there, right? And then when the market is volatile, it actually helps to see a lot of different perspective and possibilities evolving in the market. Yes, some of them are actually, some of our trades are actually going through, it's hitting through our targets. But what's more important is that during days like this, when you actually get to see what the market is doing, you don't actually take emotional decisions. Say, this is Bitcoin dominance to Bitcoin price action. And I gave my perspective in the group. I think this is exactly what's happening. That means you are actually at a support on the dominance and trying to bounce off, but the price is not at that range. So it's somewhat like this. You are still upside, above the moving average, way above the support trend line, but the dominance shows you I'm bouncing off, I'm forming a trend line. So based on that, we can put the argument we still have some room to the upside. Whether it's a short-term bounce, whether it's a macro rally, it is coming in. Then when you actually look at XRP on a bull flag kind of idea here, there's a 4-hour chart. It's not a macro pattern, it's a micro pattern. But that gives you an idea that XRP as an asset is in this channel, which usually is a corrective pattern, which will break back to the upside, follow the actual trend. So if that's you looking at the price action, then you should also understand the fact that what Bitcoin does kind of impact the entire market. So that's one of the reasons why we primarily focus on what Bitcoin is doing right now, how alts are reacting to it. That is important, because when Bitcoin drops, all coin investors kind of, they have a fever. I wanted to say something else, but let's be serious, right? Now, when you actually look at this and then look at highly correlated assets, say XRP, XLM, XDC, whichever you want to actually pick on, you'll actually notice something. how investors are behaving. But when you zoom out, you're not seeing the voting which is happening in the market. You're seeing the weighing machine working, right? The seriousness of the project, the fundamentals, the utility, that kind of things are coming in. Now, when you actually look at this, you also have to put the narrative of a corrective session coming in, which may actually push you back down towards this range of support. Now, this has been the previous level of support turning into a resistance. So coming back there and then bouncing off will not be a bad deal for XRP price action. That is something good to look at, because for us, one thing is important. What? The fake out, the fake rally. Remember, we talked about this possibility from some time. We've been giving you that detail, and look at what the price action is doing here right now. This really seems interesting to me, because the price action is kind of repeating history in itself and showing you or challenging us, saying, okay, if you can identify, try that. Right? And we are sitting here, we're like, okay, we broke below that. We went back up. It's now trying to break to the downside, or at least it's showing you, no, I'm going down. And then it bounced back up. What if that's the scenario? What if we are repeating the history? Because if that's true, this is literally a starting point of something big. So we moved from around 10 billion in XRP market cap all the way up to like 100 billion. That's something big, a 10x movement in the market. So to put that into perspective, XRP price right now is close to 0.6. If you do a 10x from here, that's like $6 to $7. That range would be a target for us. Think about that for a minute. A lot of people who are in XRP right now, those who are new in the market, they haven't seen $2. A lot of them haven't seen anything about that. So for them, $2, $3.8, the all-time highs, or the price discovery itself feels like euphoria, the bubble territory, that kind of feel. That's where you need to understand a lot of people will take profit, then try to jump back and, do all this emotional things in the market. So you need to identify what you should be doing, because on the macro, you have a lot of different things coming in. This is actually a big deal. So the macro market is showing you volatility. And if you do understand what's happening on that level, now we are getting an advantage. Now we are understanding that what the market is doing, and you can position yourself better. That's one of the reasons when we do the one-on-one sessions, when I go through the portfolios, I actually kind of give all the details, not only for your portfolio, but the macro market, and then how you can understand it better so that you can use it to amplify your portfolio. Because the macro movement kind of matters a lot. A lot of people were buying oil here. And I was like, why would you do that? Now think about this on a technical side. You're a student of the market, you're learning from the market, great. This was a support which we broke, great. So if you put that into perspective, this is what's happening. And you came back up, retesting that range, and you got rejected. So that's the market saying, I'm going down. That's the market saying that. So you won't need to go against it. What you want to do is to follow the market. Whether you're a trader or an investor, you're doing that. Just the time horizon is different. Now, take that perspective into XRP. If you want to actually compare it with XRP Ether, XRP Bitcoin, whichever is your comfort zone, it is better that way. We can actually take it up. Say we'll first look at XRP Bitcoin. What changed here? Nothing. We are still in the same pattern from some time, which is literally the whale saying, nah, I'm not allowing you to bounce back up. But when it does, it's going to actually melt faces in that analogy. But we also understand one thing. The market does not want every single one of us taking huge amount of profits outside. So the level of manipulation inside this market is going to be sky high, and you can watch that clearly in the crypto market, especially in last couple of days. What we have seen is huge. Even though strength came in between, now we are bouncing off just about that trend line. That shows a lot, because if you actually start zooming in to get an idea of what exactly is happening, you'll actually notice the fact like, okay, these levels are important. The price action is kind of respecting this trend line now. We are forming something. We need to break higher for sure. But then the actual argument which we need to make here is that if Bitcoin is consolidating here, what's actually happening to the altcoin market? Because I would actually put the argument saying, like, in that sense, when we go back to what we were discussing earlier, Bitcoin dominance breaking back higher should show you that Bitcoin should first run up. But if Bitcoin itself consolidates, that's a different story. When we compare all of these instances, when Bitcoin did bounce off that trend line, it's not one time, right? That's important to know. Each time you're looking back in history, learning what happened with the altcoins. Earlier this year, we had, during this time when Bitcoin was consolidating, that was the time when alts actually popped, and you had a lot of different coins doing 8x, 10x, 15x. So that's something we are looking at, but not now. Now is a time where altcoins, some of them or majority of them, would follow Bitcoin. Some of them will blast off, sure, but majority will follow Bitcoin in small moves. But then you'll see Bitcoin slowing down at a primary resistance. That is exactly where you will watch altcoins taking off. We have recently seen a lot of different coins doing exceptionally well. So you come here and look at the return rates. I mean, just last 30 days, you will see a lot of assets doing 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 plus percent. I mean, that doesn't actually happen in a bear market, because this is not about one or two assets. Remember, we've been following YFI for 2 or 3 days, and we actually did follow it up, right? So all the orders which we had and the charts I've shown you before. Now we are 100% up just in a week. So look at the difference, how the market just shifted. Some of them are down now, but they are up on a 30-day basis, on a quarterly basis, on a yearly basis. What can you identify here? Some of them are, they're rallying like crazy, but not on a short term. That's a catch here. You have to zoom a little bit out and look at what they're doing. I'm like, yeah, it does make sense. Some of them are grinding higher consistently over a time when others are highly volatile, and they're still making it up with big numbers. Look at Fetch here. It's up 15% for the day, 600% for the year. That's not a small thing. So if you know what you are doing, or at least you have access to something like this where you can literally see what each of these assets are doing, what your targets are, how you should be taking profits, and what you may do with those, because some of them will just go into USDT. Some of them may even find it hard to sell it because of the liquidity issues. So we discussed through all of that. And if you want to take benefit of that, look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below in YouTube. But if you're watching this on Twitter, it should be in the bio. So guys, if you received value, smash that like button for me. I appreciate that a lot. I'll meet you guys on next video. Bye for now.